Growing up in Winchester was very nice. I feel really lucky to have grown up there. And yeah, a bit like this, trees and grass and hills with the view over the city. And yeah, I had a good time there. I made amazing friends that are still really good friends now, and I feel like that makes a place quite special to you when you've sort of got good foundations, some roots. I think I first started writing songs probably around about when I was doing sort of GCSE music. I think the stuff I actually used for my GCSE music wasn't songs. I think I was too shy at that point to sort of play any songs to anyone. But that's when I sort of started writing, and then I'd play songs with my friends and eventually be brave enough to play them at open mic nights and stuff. But so yeah, about 16. I moved to Bristol after having sort of been travelling around Britain for a bit, just sort of looking around at places, seeing if I wanted to go and live there. And I met a friend of mine called Rachel, who lived in Bristol and had a spare room that she needed a housemate to go in. And so that seemed like quite a good sign. So I moved in with my friend Rachel, and then was in Bristol and started getting involved. I guess you start meeting people. Another friend called Rachel was living there, and she'd also just moved from Winchester, just like me. So we sort of stuck together, formed a little band called Reuben Polly, and played gigs and met people and, joined choirs and just got stuck in. I don't feel like an imposter, but it's been 10 years now since I've lived in Bristol. So I might just be speaking to you about my nostalgic memories. But I come back really regularly because it's our sort of UK base, so maybe it still counts how I feel. But it's just a nice open community. People are up for exchanging and going to gigs and playing gigs and meeting each other. And in Bristol I feel like everyone is really proud of what everyone else does and sort of is pleased about it all. It's a really nice atmosphere. I mean, wherever I live, wherever I would be living, would be affecting it somehow in some mysterious way. But I guess travelling I guess since moving to Paris, whether it's because I live in Paris or whether it's because of other factors, I have travelled more over the past sort of 10 years, and I feel like that affects my writing quite a lot. And just keeping on the move, but also the way you meet people. The people I've met in Paris are amazing, and watching a different sort of approach to making and practicing and writing. I'm not saying it's specific to Paris, but just moving anywhere, you see how people do things differently, and that has really taught me lots, and it's good. Yeah, I've got no rules, but looking back, I've noticed a pattern that I write a song, then I play it for quite a while on my own, then I play it for quite a while live, but on my own, and then I start working on it with the band, and then eventually we get around to recording it. So it's usually been worked on quite a bit by the time recording happens. But for me, there isn't a this is ready to record now moment, because I feel like the songs just change all the time anyway. Albums for me aren't a definitive version, they're just a bit like a gig. They're like this version that happened in this situation with this people, and then stuff keeps changing afterwards, really. There's been a bit of agony. I mean, just because I'm a human being that's been alive for 33 years now, you get a bit of agony along the way. And it does work its way into the songs, but I guess it manifests itself necessarily in the same way that maybe someone else would show a bit of agony. It's funny because with the first album, people often say, "Oh, it's very melancholy. It's quite a sad album," but it's like all of my happiest songs. And then the second album, a lot more agony, a lot more stuff that I'd been through whilst on the run up to writing those songs and making that album. But everyone comments about it being more uplifting and sort of positive So I think it just totally depends on the sound and what the listeners' ears are willing to hear as well. No methods, but if I sort of sit down and think about it, there are patterns that I can notice myself doing every time. A lot of it is me writing. I write all the time. I've always got a book that I sort of scribble stuff down in, and then often I'll think, okay, time to take some of this and make it into a song, and then I'll start playing some music and try and find some way of joining the two. And quite often I'll write some music and then write some totally different words that have nothing to do with what I've been working on. Like that happens quite a lot. So I guess it's sort of words, music, new words, if that's a sort of organised way of making it into a formula. But it just really varies. Sometimes it'll be a grinding weeks of trying to write a song, and other times it'll just be sort of an afternoon of, oh, I think I've got a song now. When you sort of been a human being that's been listening to music for a lifetime, it's hard to pinpoint the influences. And often there's stuff that I'll just think, oh yeah, obviously Bob Dylan, stuff that my parents listened to growing up, that influenced me a lot. But then recently I've been listening to records that I'd forgotten about, and they're a huge influence to me. A little while ago I got out my Dick Gaughan record, Handful of Earth, and put it on. I was like, oh yeah, oh wow, this has been, it was such a big influence on me, or has been, without me really noticing it until now and listening to it. Stuff like the Beta Band, stuff I just used to listen to loads and loads when I was up for it. It was funny because we sort of had a few songs that were really ready, we've been playing for ages, and then a few songs that weren't finished and that I was still writing on. But there was one week when we were both free and we could go over and record them in his garage in Brooklyn. So we went and worked solidly for a week, did as much as we could. And it was really great, quite intense, but really excellent, and it felt like we made progress. But then after that session, or, week of sessions, sort of a couple of years passed, and then I went back for another week to finish off what we'd done and to record the songs that had been finished in the meantime. So it was a funny sort of bookend period. In the meantime, we'd been working on the album the whole time and trying stuff out. It was great. The sessions were really great, and it's always insightful and educational to work with other people and see what comes out of that. And he was really good at knowing the sound he wanted and just gently finding it. Yeah. At one time I think he mentioned the album being quite glacial, and he's right, and I know what he means, and it fits it completely, and he hit the nail on the head. The order of the songs, but mainly we just tried to find an oral journey that felt sort of fitted. Yeah, just sort of, from one song to the next. Nothing too sort of violent or uncomfortable. Some sort of story, a sonic story. We've got Terry and Melanie, who are from the Bristol Fantasy Orchestra. They're troopers, they've come to play sax with us for tonight's show, but also for our Bristol show and our London show, our Blue Ribbon shows. Because we've been working on stuff in rehearsals and developing things and working on a few new songs, but you never know if anyone's going to notice it or not, if they're just going to go, oh, this is the kid doing what they normally do. We've got a few new songs and a few saxophone players. Well, next is another album. It's been quite a tour-heavy year, so it would be nice to have enough time to not be on tour and also to properly write and work on new songs. I mean, I've been doing that, but I'd love to do it more. I'd love to just sort of have a solid chunk of time where that's what I did all day, every day. So writing, and then another album at some point, as soon as I can get the writing done. But I mean, we're on tour now basically until February, so I hope that we'll get a bit of a breather next year.